Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 3 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 3 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find the list of the chapters. We are going to start with the chapter multiplication. The lessons we're going to cover from the chapter are multiply by a multiple of 10, multiplication patterns over increasing place values, multiply numbers ending in zeros, multiplication input output tables, find the rules. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Okay, here I am on grade 3 math. The chapter we are on right now is multiplication. Let's just start with the lesson that is multiply by a number of multiple of 10. So the multiple of 10 means you are going to multiply the multiples of 10. So the multiples of 10 are they are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. They all are the multiples of 10, right? Multiples means the numbers you can make by multiplying by 10. So these are the multiples of 10. So we're going to learn how do we multiply with them. So start with the first example, that is 5 times 40, right? You simply have to multiply the non-zero value. The non-zero value is 5 times 4, right? So 5 times 4 is 20. You have one zero here. Just add the zero with 20, so that makes 200. Got it? So 5 times 40 equals 200. Let's just start with the test questions. 1 times 80, right? So multiply the non-zero values. The non-zero values are 1 times 8. 1 times 8 is 8. You have only one zero with 80, so add a 0 over here. So 80 times 1 is 80. The correct option is 80. Option number 3 is the correct option. Can you guys please stop chatting? You guys are here to learn, so why don't you focus on the learning? The next one is 10 times 8. So just multiply the non-zero values again. You have to do 1 times 8. 1 times 8 is 8. Then you have to add the extra 0, right? So yes, that is again 80. Option number 1 is the correct option. 7 times 50. So you have to do 7 times 5, right? 7 times 5 is 35. Then you need to add that 0 over here. So that makes 350. So 50 times 7 is 350, right? Option number 1 is the correct option, right? 7 times 20. So which is the correct option? You have to do 7 times 2, that is 14, and then you have to add the 0. So that makes 140. So 7 times 20 is 140. Option number 1 is the correct option. 5 times 40. So which is the correct option? You have to do 5 times 4, that is 20, right? Very good, that is 200. You need to add the 0. So the correct option is 200. Very good. Okay, the next one is 7 times 80. So which is the correct option? 7 times 8 is you have to do 7 times 8, that is very good. 7 times 8 is 56. So you need to add that 0. That's make it 560. Option number 1 is the correct option, that is 560. Option number 1 is the correct option. 3 times 20, which is the correct option? 3 times 20 is 3 times 2 is 6. You need to add the 0. So yes, that makes it 60. The correct option is 60. Very good. The next one is 3 times 80. So which is the correct option? 3 times 8 is 24. So you need to add the 0. So the correct option is 240. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? That is 240. 240, not 50. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is multiplication patterns or increasing place values. Complete the pattern. 6 times what number is 12? 6 times what number is 120? 6 times what number is 1200? And 6 times what number is 12,000? So you have to do 6 times 2 is the 6 times 2 is 12. That is basically the increasing place values, right? Then you have to do 6 times 2 is 12 and you have 1 0 over here. So you need to add 1 0 over here, right? Then again 6 times 2 is 12. You have two zeros over here. You need to add some one of the number and the product must have the same number of zeros, right? So then 6, 2, you have three zeros over here. You need to add three zeros over here. So that is 220, 200 and 2000. Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, complete the pattern. 6 times what number is 12? 6 times what number is 120? Then 6 times the missing number is 1200. Then 6 times the missing number is 12,000. That's the one we just did on the tutorial. So which is the correct option? That's option number 1. 220, 200 and 2000. The correct option is option number 1. Okay, complete the pattern. 5 times what number is 5? 50 times what number is 50? 500 times what number is 500? And 5000 times what number is 5000? So which is the correct option? That is 5 times 1 is 5. 50 times 1 is 50. 500 times 1 is 500. And 5001 is 5000. Option number 2 is the correct option. Complete the pattern. 2 times what number is 6? 20 times what number is 60? 200 times what number is 600? And 2000 times what number is 6000? So which is the correct option? Very good. That's option number 2. Complete the pattern. 3 times 6 equals the missing number. 3 times 60, 3 times 600 and 3 times 6000. So which is the correct option? Yes, that is 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 60 is 180, 3 times 600 is 1800, and 3 times 6000 is 18,000. Option number 2 is the correct option. Got it? The correct option is option number 2. Complete the pattern. 6 times 7, 60 times 7, 600 times 7, and 6000 times 7, which is the correct option. 6 times 7 is 42. 60 times 7 is 420. 600 times 7 is 4200, and 6000 times 7 is 42,000. So the correct option is option number 1 is the correct option. Got it? Complete the pattern. 1 times 1, 10 times 1, 100 times 1, and 1000 times 1. So which is the correct option? One times 1 is 1, 10 times 1 is 10, 100 times 1 is 100, and 1000 times 1 is 1000. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Multiply numbers ending in zeros. Let's just start with the lesson. 30 times 7. So you have to do the same thing. Multiply the non-zero portion, that is 3 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. Then you need to add the 0 with the 30, right? So that makes it 210. Let's just start with the test questions. 600 times 3, which is the correct option. 3 times 6 is 18. You have two zeros with 6. So that makes it 1800, not 80,000. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 1800. 800 times 7, which is the correct option. 7 times 8 is 56. We need to add the zeros, two zeros. That's make it 5600. 30 times 7, so which is the correct option? 30 times 7 is 210. Option number 1 is the correct option. 400 times 3, which is the correct option? 'That is 1200. Option number 2 is the correct option. 30 times 4, which is the correct option? Twelve hundred. It's 120. How 1200? 4 times 3 is 12. You need to add a zero. You have only one zero. So that makes it 112, 120, not 1200. 50 times 8. Yes, 8 times 5 is 40. You need to add a zero. That is 400. Option number 2 is the correct option. 20 times 6, which is the correct option? That is 120. 6 times 2 is 12. How 420? 6 times 2 is 12. You need to add a 0 that makes it 120. 10 times 9 is 10 times 9 is 90. It is the correct option is 90. 300 times 9, which is the correct option. Very good. 9 times 3 is 27. Then you need to add the two zeros that makes it 2700. Option number 3 is the correct option. 90 times 6, which is the correct option. 9 times 6 makes 54. So that is 540. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. Multiplication word problems you have to do on your own. Let's just start with the multiplication input output tables. Find the rule. What is the rule for this input output table? So basically, you have to multiply the input table, the input values by a number, then you have the output values. You have to see what number it is. Like for example, that is 0. Just look at the second one. 2 times what number is 4 and 2 times what number is 5 times what number is 10. So what number it is? 2 times 2 is 4 and 5 times 2 is 4. So then 0 times 2 is 0. That means the rule is you have to multiply the each input value by 2 to get the output value. Got it? Let's just start with the test questions. What is the rule for the input output table? So which is the correct option? The input values are 0 to 4. The output values are 0, 4 and 8. So which is the correct option? 2 times what number is 4? And 4 times what number is 8? 2 times 2 is 4 and 4 times 2 is 8, isn't it? That means the rule is you have to multiply the each input values by 2 to calculate the output values. What is the rule for input output table, which is the correct option? 1 times what number is 3? That is 3. You have to multiply each input value by 3 to calculate the output values. What is the rule for input output table? Option number 1 is the correct option. You need to multiply them by 2. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is the rule for the input output table? Which is the correct option? One times 3 is 3 and 3 times 3 is 9. Yes, that is multiply by 3. What is the rule for input output table? Which is the correct option? Yes, again you have to multiply by 3. What is the rule for this input output table? You have to multiply by 2. What is the rule for input output table? Which is the correct option? You have to multiply by 3. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 3 math. The chapter we were working on is multiplication. The lessons we have covered today are multiply by a multiple of 10, multiplication patterns over increasing place value, multiply numbers ending in zeros, and multiplication input output tables, find the rules. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. If you need more help with any of the lesson, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you. Or either you can write down the question in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So if you need help with any of the lesson, you can please write down the question in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any.